Hi y'all, Billy here again. Welcome to the Messy Studio. This is part 5C of the So You Want to Turn Pin series, and the pin you see here is what we end up with. Alright, instead of just a couple hours, it's actually the next day. Been trying to heed my doctor's advice. If you've been following my channel, you'll know that I had back surgery on the 28th of December, and so he said I could be out here doing small stuff as long as I took it easy and listened to my body. So that's what I've been trying to do. But I'm feeling good, so let's get this cleaned off and see if we can finish this pin. The CA has cured. So I'm just trying to get it down to a sandable finish for now. Get this excess CA out. I've got a little bit of a ridge right there. But that won't be nothing. Looking good. That should sand out. Okay, you might have noticed that I took the washer off the end of this. That's because with this upper barrel on my modified slimline, I like to create a little bit of a round. Let's sand this up. This is pretty smooth, but I'm still going to start at 180. Remember, this is cross grain, so instead of sanding it this way, I'm sanding with the grain. I'm going to put a couple of grooves in it. That just gives it a classier look, I think. Now I gotta do the bottom barrel while I'm thinking about what kind of finish I want to put on this. Got the washer back in place because this one I don't want round. I want this edge crisp. The rest of that should sand. I don't really need to use the inertia sander because this is cross grain and I'm not going to have any sanding lines. That and this stuff is just so blasted hard. .240. I'm going to apply a couple of coats of Mylan's nitrocellulose sanding sealer. I like this stuff, it dries really quick. It's not cheap. But it dries really fast and it'll dry under friction. On the coat, that feels dry. I'm also going to apply some to the end. Just so it doesn't look unfinished. Now to determine what kind of finish. I've mentioned before that I don't like CA as a finish. I've had bad luck with it. Not so much in applying it, but in how well it wears. Granted, only one customer out of a couple of hundred has had an issue with their body chemistry in CA, but that's enough for me anyway. So my general go-to for finish on pens is lacquer. It wears well. I've not had any complaints from customers on it. Not had any come back. But I'm going to try the product from General Finishes. This is called Wood Turner's Finish. It says to apply a thin coat. then wait a half hour for subsequent coats. It does layer and it does build. The reason I'm not using lacquer on these is because it would take me over a week to finish the video, because lacquer takes, at least in this neck of the woods, lacquer takes a minimum of 7 days up to 10 days to really cure. Most finishes take a few days to really cure, even though they're dry to the touch. And I don't like assembling a lacquer pen, even though I can touch it the next day. I don't like doing that. I like waiting until it's fully cured to assemble it. That way the lacquer has reached its full hardness. I'm not big on friction polish on pens because it just doesn't last. And that's probably all I'm going to put on for now. The truth be told, I should probably put 5 or 6 coats on. But this stuff is so hard from the resin, and it was polished up nice just to 400. I don't think it's going to wear badly at all, just as it stands. I could probably have gotten by with a friction polish, in fact. So after this dries up, I'll buff them off a little bit, and then we'll put the pins together. And this is what it looks like all polished up. I forgot to turn the camera on. I'm going to put a little Renaissance wax on it. This is a microcrystalline wax. It also will layer and build. Give that a little bit of time to flash off, and then polish it off. Let's see what happens. Yes, I use a cotton cloth, but I wasn't holding it wrapped around me or anything. If something happens, it jerks it out of my hands. Could be better. I could be happier with it, and I would be happier with it if I did my lacquer dip method, and I'll have a link to that video that I did in my autism awareness pens. You'll see that at the end of this video. You can go look at it and see how I dip my pens, but I'm not going to do that with this one. I'm gonna let this Renaissance wax harden up a little bit, and we'll come back and put it together. Okay, the parts are ready. I'm moving you over to my small lathe because that's where the jigs I made for pressing my pins together are. Yes, I use my lathe to put the pins together. I've used the ratchet clamps. I've used all kinds of things. I didn't want to spend money on a one-off item. I've mentioned this before, like a pen press only has one use. Well, I do the same thing with this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I made these out of oak and corian. This is made to fit my tailstock spindle or quill, and this is made to fit on my headstock spindle. Got all the parts ready to go. It's pretty easy. The slimline is one of the easiest kits you're going to do. So you start the nib into the small end, obviously. Get it so that it looks like it's lined up. Bring it up. Make sure everything is straight as you can. If you start pushing this together and they're cocked, you'll stretch that brass tube and you might even crack your blank. Don't ask me how I know this. So constantly keep a vigil to make sure that this is going in straight. And it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. And there you have it. So, what about the transmission? You start it as well. You see this line? These transmissions are made so that if you seat this line to the end of the tube, if you haven't shortened that tube or cut it too long from a longer tube, and you can buy them in 10-inch lengths, then you push that in, it should be perfect. Well, I don't gamble. I test. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to test. Again, keep it centered and straight. Taking it almost to the line. Insert the refill, screw it in. Needs to go in just a little more. See, I'm not quite to the line, so now I know what my distance is and what kind of tolerance I have, and I know I can go a little bit farther. Take it right to the line this time. That's perfect. I get a nice withdrawal of the nib. It's in there about a 1/16, full extension. That's the way I like it. Now I made this modified, so we're not going to use the sitter band. I'll put that aside and maybe use it for something else later. Put the end cap into the pocket clip. Find where I want the clip to be. That looks good right there. Give myself some working room. The quill on this Nova is just a little short for my liking, but other than that, I've been real happy with it. Push it in, make sure you get a good squeeze. It's nice and tight. Press the pin together. Now most people would stop right there. Well, I'm kind of picky. Remember I've said at the start of this, I like grain alignment a lot. So how do I know what's what? Well, it looks close where it is. But if you notice, this is side grain, and the grain structure on this edge of the side, or the grain structure over here on this side of the blank, the grain's going that way. You've got some upturn over here and you've got some downturn there. Go to the other side and you can see a little more clearly. This has an arc slightly this way, this arc is slightly this way. So that means I'm out. So how do you fix that? Well, it's easy. You just turn it. And now everything is going the same way. Grain is aligned. Pin is out. Pin is in. Some people put them together so that the grain aligns when the pin is fully extended. I do it just the opposite. I align it so that the grain is aligned while the pin is recessed. And I think it shows better that way. Again, that's my opinion. That's the way I do things. And that's how you make a pen. A wooden pen. Actually, this is a specialty blank. This isn't a wooden pen. This is a specialty blank. It was stabilized. I think in the next couple of days I'll do another one and make another video on those. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to use regular wood or synthetic. I'll probably go with synthetic first, and then I'll do a regular wood, and we can let it sit up and wait on the finish. So there you have it. A pen. A modified slimline. I could be happier with it. I probably won't sell this one. I'll give it away. There's some birthdays or anniversaries or something coming up. But it's pretty. It's nice. It's got a kind of a satin sheen to it. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of people don't like high gloss. Some people do. But it doesn't just look like your regular skinny old slimline, and you're not paying the extra dollars for the comfort pen, which is basically just uses bigger bushings up here. Which is, I did the same thing using two different outside diameter 1/4 inch washers. You can too. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps you on your pen turning quest. I gotta tell you, it's very, very addictive. You'll find yourself spending more money than you thought you would if you really get into it and you like it. Especially if you start selling and getting orders like I've done for years. So please like and subscribe. Come back and see what I do next. Thanks for watching, y'all.